if you think about the way university professors are paid, for example, there's a tenure system. This is really a system that takes into consideration the fact that you want to kind of reward for success and punish for failure, but at the same time you want the thing to be too extreme. So what economists want is really to say, you have to find the right balance between giving some insurance to someone that failed because their research, was not successful, and at the same time, you want also to worry you're not giving too much insurance to those involved in the innovation process, because otherwise, the incentive to really try hard are not there.
And are there any specific examples you could point to where, in terms of managing innovation and incorporating this, concept of failure is potentially necessary to innovate, how do you manage that? Are there any examples you can highlight?
So, well, one example is the one that I highlighted, like the way the universities are organized and the way we manage innovation among academics.
So, I think the idea that universities are good at this is just ridiculous. I think it appears that institutions make it, scientists swarm around sets of products and they benefit from the attention of yesterday's innovations, and the same is true actually with larger teams are much more likely to glom onto kind of yesterday's successes and benefit from the attention that they get than small teams. And as a result, we basically have a deviation in incentive for the system and for individuals as a function of the fact that scientists are very, very small firms. And there are institutions that respond to this. The golden age of Bell Labs is one where you're fostering group productivity, essentially by awarding maximal or group level success. There are other efforts, for example, like funding individuals over the career rather than particular projects, which allow people to build a portfolio of risk. Right? This is like the Howard Hughes Medical Foundation, or institutions that explicitly target risky things like the Gates Foundation. But this is not the common system either in our academic funding or in the institutions which most of us reside. So I think universities are enormously conservative.
Yeah, so just a clarification. One thing is to say that the right system should really balance two things, like providing insurance for failure, but at the same time not to over-insure people. The other thing is to say that university get it right. That's there is I know that there is a lot of ways in which you can improve the system.
In terms of the over and under insurance issue, just no disrespect to my colleagues, but a minimum level of productivity will get you to the tenure point, and then you can go as far down as you want because there's no control.
No,
for that.
I totally okay.
Yeah.
So you're saying that too much insurance that come out after the tenure system?
Nobody's waiting for.
Is a bad thing.
Yeah, nobody's waiting for the latest article in metaphysics or epistemology. I'm pretty sure, except for a few people. So there's no great social cost to this lack of productivity, except that in this country with public universities there is a significant salary burden, which is given to people who perhaps. Because they have this security, are overinsured in the sense that you mean. Mm-hmm. So it's not really something that I have a strong view on, except that maybe this combines a couple of things that both of you said. Maybe this is the wrong way to be thinking about universities. Mm-hmm. Maybe we shouldn't be thinking about universities either in terms of their innovation productivity or in the level of insurance or lack of risk that we provide for the people who teach in them. Mm. Right? Maybe universities are about something else entirely, like liberal education.
What do you think the right culture or the right environment is to maximize innovation? Are universities the best places for innovation?
On the one hand, if you blow everything up, if you blow up all the structures and all the disciplinary boundaries and all the fields, then it's going to be very difficult to accumulate anything. On the other hand, it turns out systematically that things that cross boundaries end up achieving advance. So, for example, some stuff that we're just finishing research on. We're looking at patents and products and papers. So kind of 150 million kind of cultural objects like this that are generated, and we find that that basically the combination of research concepts and contexts equally contribute to the likelihood that something will be successful and take off and be influential for the field. And what that means is that the whole research record is a record of success. It's not a record of failure.
Right.
So basically, failures are censored in this system. And so basically, if you're looking for these combinations in places where everyone else has looked, then you're likely to refine the things that have been abandoned over and over again, right? So there is something about disciplines, about communities that have kind of committed, and this is the way, again, our universities are set up, biasing towards, disciplinary systems that use their criteria to evaluate. But if you want to find something that are eventually really useful and transformative for those very systems, you have to break up those boundaries. You have to search in these unsearched spaces, and finding ways to incentivize that are a challenge in university environments.
Yeah, I think this is a really good point because it's partly it's just a general point about the way that methodologies work, and that is to say that you set them up and they generate the results that they're set up to generate. That's what a method is. So it's already the case if you have something that you're calling a discipline with certain methodologies that are associated with it canonically, that you will generate those kinds of results because that's a production and consumption machine.